guys, welcome to 9 Links. This is your host Alex. Today we're gonna do the third update on the greenhouse in the basement, and today is November 23rd. Okay, first one we'll start off. We're gonna start over here like always. This is night blooming jasmine, also known as Cestrum Nocturnum. It's doing well. Like I say, this year the weather been a little crazy. And my zone usually starts snowing around end of October. Right now, we're into December, almost Christmas, and the grass still green out there, and today is 65 degrees. So, night blooming jasmine still have a lot of leaves left, and I don't think it's gonna drop anytime soon. I mean, it did drop quite a few older leaves, so it's gonna remain like this, at least for a little bit, until it gets really cold out there. Okay, and it's doing really well. I checked the pests. There are no pests on here, and also I did a little pruning on the bottom. Last time I made a video about it to clean up the bottom structure. And let me see down here. So it's a lot cleaner down here, and also very much visible. Okay, and as you can see, some of the older leaves still on there. I'll just use it as a mulch on top. Okay, and the second plant we're hopping over here, it's a banana shrub. So far it's been doing well too, and as you can see, all these bloom the stalk is dried up. It's flower after bloom. It's dried up, and some of the leaves still is falling off, a few here and there, which is normal. It's still pretty green, and I'm probably gonna do a small prune later, just to cut these guys off. It's not really considered any major prune, just a minor adjustment, because these guys are not gonna do anything anyway, so just gonna cut them off. And in terms of the bugs, no bugs found on it yet, and it's doing really well, although I found some little bit of snail down in the potting area, but it's normal. Tiny bit of snail is fine, as long as there are no big infestation. And also snail poops can be act as an organic fertilizer. Next over here we have night blooming jasmine, not another one, the propagation one. I call it the P1, and it's doing well too, so it's not that bad. Then we got over here, we have another tiny night blooming jasmine. I moved it over here. It's doing well, and also no bugs so far. And then we have over here orange jasmine. It's doing well. It bloomed last time. As you can see, the flowers are drying up, and because of it's indoor, there are no bugs like moth or butterfly to pollinate. So these flowers just dry up and probably won't form a seed. As you can see, the ones that do form a seed on top, you can see the big one right there. Let me focus in for you. And there's one down here, as you can see, the red one. It's if people want to plant their jasmine, orange jasmine from seeds, you can use the red seed as a germination. But the green one doesn't really work until you get to the red one. Okay, so in terms of bugs, no bugs found on it yet. It's very healthy, so it's good sign. So we move over here. Next one to Sambac Ruby Chan. It's doing very well. Actually, I did a video like some time ago back, repotted this, and it's doing so well on this new pot. I can show you. It's forming right there, if you can see it. See it right here. Let me see if I can go here. See that right there? That's I'm not sure if it's a flower spike or just a leaf spike. If it's a leaf spike, that means it likes the pot. It's growing. And also over here, right behind the little clay ball, you can see there's a little spike. Here, let me remove it. You can see a little spike right there. And then there's another one over here. I don't know if you can see it. There's another one right there. It's coming up. So yeah, so it's doing very well. It's putting out 3, I don't know if it's flower or leaf spikes, but basically 3 spikes. think I saw another one on the side, but let's call it 3 for now. So as you can see, remember when I first repot this, well, pot it up, not really a repot. Just want to give you a reminder. Repot is basically you take the whole plant out, empty the old mix and put in a new mix and clean the roots and stuff. It's called repotting. And my definition, that's called repotting. When you pot it up, means you take the plant out of the pot bound container without doing any root cleaning, or take out the old mix. You just put in a new pot with a new mix, a bigger pot. So you pot it up. So that way, I explained it before, when repotting, it gives a lot more stress to the plants, especially Cymbidiums. Any Cymbidiums, when you repot them, or moth orchid in general, when you repot them, you get rid of the old mix and put in a new mix. They will take some time to adjust. In a good climate area, their natural habitat, then it will be a lot faster. But I'm in a basement here, so it's not really a natural. But so potting up, just take them out, put in a new pot, add a new mix in it. The pot has to be a little bit bigger, right? So that way they already have all the microbes in there on the older mix that comes with them. At the same time, they don't need to adjust much to the new environment, so they adjust to the new potting a lot quicker. So as you can tell, when I repot this last time, after a week after repotting, you see some leaves turning yellow and the edge turning a little black. That could be due to the stress. So after I say it's okay, leaf will fall off, it's fine, as long as not every single one of them start doing that. So which is true, and they fell off and took it out, and look, right now they're doing very well, very green, and putting out 3 new spikes. Okay, anyway, no bugs on the Cymbidium yet, and that's one thing good about Cymbidium orchid is that there are very limited bugs. Well, most of my plants are very limited, but there's certain ones that have a little bit more problem than the others, but which still compared to some of the, no offense for anybody who have tomato plants, or compared to tomato plants, or those edible plants, those have tons of bugs. Anyway, that's one thing good about Cymbidiums. Very clean, very fragrant for the flowers. Anyway, jump to the next one. This one is Jasmine of Jasmine, Maid of New Orleans, and it's doing very well. I showed you last time there are a lot of new shoots coming out everywhere, so I cleaned it up a little bit and cut those off. Ever since I cut those off, and I also trimmed down a little bit in the bottom. See, I always keep it this much out here, so clean water and better visibility. Okay, it's doing very well. As you can see over here, it actually put out some flowers, and it's dried up already. And the flowers in the basement is nothing to be, what should I say? Nothing exciting. Basically, it doesn't put out as much fragrance as in the summer and the outside. You have to get very close to smell it. So as you can see over here, more new shoots coming out, and also over here, more flowers are blooming, and these are flower buds right here, and there are quite a few flower bugs. They are not as big compared to when they are in summer and outside, and they are not as strong of fragrance too. But overall, it's very healthy, and no bugs so far. But I did found a couple leaves underside has a powdery mildew. Powdery mildew is a white substance forming on the leaves. I had that same problem last year with Maid of New Orleans, which I don't know. I think Maid of New Orleans just very strong at surviving, very persistent. It doesn't give up. So all you have to do is get a rubbing alcohol and use a paper towel, soak in it, and then just wipe it off, the leaf off with this towel, and it'll be fine. Just double check everywhere, and there's nothing you can do about it. They just those powdery mildew just happen to be there, and it's just like all the bacteria. If you see them present, rubbing alcohol is your best friend, and just wipe it off, and it's good to go. Anyway, so far overall it's very healthy. Now we come over here with the white champaga. Now, if I remember correctly, I told you guys about 2/3 of the leaves will be gone the next update. Perhaps this year it's a little slower. It's only roughly about 1/3. if you compare my video this time to the last one, you'll see definitely this time there are a lot less leaves on there. I made a bunch of cuttings off this too. Not propagation cutting, just those bad growth. Just cut them off. As you can see, the leaves on the window side still very clustered, and then the leaves down on this side, you can see it's very like on that stalk right there, that branch right there, it's all gone. So would I be cutting those branches back? I'm probably not going to do that. White Champaca are very notorious for, if you cut, I think I talked to you guys about that before, once you cut the branch off, it starts to hollow in. Let me show you an example. With this one, it's not that bad, but it's probably it's a good example. You see that that segment is black, and the branch stops right there. There's I don't know the exact term for the branch. Like when you have a branch like this, you have a node here and a node here, and in the midsection that's a branch of this what's it called, stem, whatever you call it. There's two nodes here. So over here, you see the one I cut was right up here. It dries all the way down to the node. So this is actually pretty lucky because my white Champaca is pretty healthy. It stopped right there. Sometimes if the bacteria gets in there, which you can notice I cut it in a little slant to prevent bacteria. When it outside rains and stuff, the rain will fall off. It gives you a better chance to protect against the water buildup, which in the worst case afterward it'll cause bacteria infection. It stopped right there, which means the tree itself, the white Champaca, has sealed the wound right there to prevent it from further spreading down. If the tree is stressed, it's already in a very sick state. If I were to cut this and in a wet climate out there, the water gets in, it will slowly soak into this branch right here and this node, and slowly going down. Who knows how far it will go down? But that's one thing about white Champaca that most experts don't recommend you to go in. Just like, you know, like my night blooming jasmine, I can go in and just cut whatever I want. But for white Champaca, it's very picky, and if you have very healthy trees like mine, you can cut it. It's not a big deal, especially during the summer time, like around June or July. It's very forgivable. It will recover fine because it's healthy. But if you have a not so healthy white Champaca, if you do a cutting on it, the infection can get pretty deep. And sometimes, I'm not saying all the time, really, it could kill the whole entire tree, okay? Anyway, so far it's been doing very well. Few blooms here and there, and I think this is the last bloom right here. This is the last bloom. So I think that's about it. There's a few more flower buds over here, which I don't think it'll go into full bloom. It probably get a little older and then probably falls off. And as you can see down here, it's a lot cleaner now because all the leaves falling off down at the bottom. And I put those cut leaves on top of the white Champaca. It has some few slugs and stuff in there, and the potting mix, which is fine. I know people say, oh, I have slugs in my garden. I usually take care of them. They eat my fresh vegetables and stuff. Yes, slugs do eat vegetables and stuff. Like if you have a cabbage and stuff, young plants on the ground, they do eat those. There are different kind of slugs, and they eat stuff differently. Some slugs actually eat other slugs, okay? I'm not going into detail with that, but basically some of the slugs I have down here, well, most of the slug, the first choice is decomposed material, organic decomposed material. I have that much leaves down here. They will definitely eat those leaves, and they'll poop out, and the poop can act as organic fertilizer. Now, the catch is this plant is old enough. It has a huge branch. The slug's not going to chew on the branch, the stalk like that big right there. And it has plenty of food down here. So it's not for me, it's not you can see the slime trail right there. It's white, slimy. It's not a big problem, although slime can transmit disease from one plant to another. But the thing is, these slugs are, I think they're born in the potting mix that I had last time. So it's not, I mean, not born, but there's a big slug come in and lay the eggs in my white Champaca. So they're not really crowning from other plants, like, you know, you have big garden and the neighbor's garden, if the plants are sick or the veggies are sick and they carry the disease over. It's all remain here. Not that I'm encouraging you all to get some slug into your plants. I'm just saying, if you happen to have snail or slugs in your potting mix, it's not a big deal. They eat decomposed stuff, and the next route after decomposed stuff is young roots or young growth on the new growth, like on the plants, which those two I can eliminate pretty much, not an issue for me, because white champaca is pot bounded, and if it grows any more new roots, if they don't want to eat these decomposed stuff, which that's what they eat first, if they want to eat those roots, that's fine, because pot bounded container roots are plenty, okay? And for them, it's not, for me, it's not a problem. For them also, it's probably not going to eat those. They probably going to eat the decomposed leaf. But anyway, one thing I do want to point out, interesting about the white champaca is, white champaca typically don't form seeds. There are no seeds for white champaca. You cannot get a new fresh plants from planting white champaca seeds. Now here's an interesting thing though. You see this one, after the flower bloomed and the inside actually formed tiny little bit seeds. I'm not sure if those seeds are, those are seeds, or those are, what should I say, workable seeds. If they can be, they will be grown any bigger, or they just gonna remain like that. And I don't know, but it's interesting. I see multiple areas have this kind of seeds and throughout this plant. Most of the time when you see flower bloom, after they bloom, this thing right here turn very weak, and these are very small, and you can just touch it and it will falls off, because it's not really forming seed. It's just like anything, this flower bloom and it's done blooming, it falls off. So this one, it doesn't fall off, it's still pretty sturdy, and the seeds on top, sorry, I'm using iPhone here right now, can't really zoom in much. Let me see if I can go in. There you go, that's pretty good. All right, so it's bigger than normal, but at the same time, I'm gonna keep an eye on it, see if it gets any bigger. And you see, there's another one right over here. See that? So I don't know if those are seeds. I'm pretty sure they are seeds, but are they, workable seeds that you can actually get it to germinate? Which white champaca, you can't. But so why do I'm getting a seed? So it's one of the mysteries. I have to probably look into that. It's interesting, you're learning new things every day. All right, so far in terms of bugs, no bugs on the plants or beside the potting mix, slugs, snails, it's fine. In terms of disease, nothing seems to be out of ordinary, besides few leaf turning yellow, falls off, ready for dormancy. Not getting enough sunlight, it's cutting back the leaf. The plant is cutting back the leaves, so it's normal. All right, let's move to the next section. All right, over here we have figs. Last time I told you about it's putting up new shoots. It's actually, you see, these little leaves are very, very young. I think they get so far they don't get enough sunlight, but they get just right up to the minimum requirement for them to bloom. And because of the current weather is so nice, it's actually blooming. And most of the time when the basement gets cold, when outside is below 15 degrees, plants can sense that, and especially in the basement. So they typically don't grow. But like I say, this year has been crazy. It's almost Christmas, and there's no one single snow, and the grass still green. As you can see, neem tree most of the time by end of early November usually drops all the leaves. So far, most of the leaves still on there. And the other day I think about cutting back water, and the leaves all dropping down, and I figure, oh, maybe it's time the leaves finally falling off. Water a little bit, they all come back up, so they're still working. Okay, anyway, back to this. Figs still doing well, no bugs found on it. As you can see, I put some wood sorrel seeds down there. It's growing right now, and it's pretty good. And because of the size of the container, I only water it once 2 weeks. And because also, remember, watering plants depends on how much they grow. This one, not growing much, just small leaves. So it still requires some water, but not much. Now we'll come over here to the neem tree. Just like I said earlier, it's doing very well. It's not putting up new new leaves, because in order for the neem trees to put out new leaves, it has to be very hot, like above 90 degrees. They really like the hot region. Remember, this neem trees, its native environment is roughly at around in India. There's another area for that, but most of in India, they worship this tree as a sacred tree, and they use it to the little branch use it for toothpick, and they use it for tea purpose, a lot of stuff. And for us, we probably you already know, neem seeds can be cold pressed to get the neem oil, which is the #1 organic pesticide. Anyway, I won't do in detail with that. So just basically saying this plant is doing very well, and no disease, definitely no bugs. If bugs be on a neem tree, they can kill themselves on there too. That's the way it is. Any bugs ingest neem tree oils or neem tree leaves, they will starve to death. Okay, there's chemical compound in the leaf, and the whole neem tree actually will cause the bugs to eat, and then the bugs, somehow the chemical compound will interact with their body, tells their body they are no longer hungry, no longer need to eat, and they'll starve themselves to death. Okay, now we're coming over here. Actually two over there, not much to talk about. Those just propagations, Maid of New Orleans and night blooming jasmine, and two night blooming jasmine over here, propagation. And then we have figs propagation. It's growing the shoots out. So it's like I told you before, figs are very easy to propagate. You cut them, stick them into the potting mix, and they will be fine. And then we have Sambac sumac here. I did a repot on the sumac because of here, let me take this leaf out of the way. So I did a repot about two days ago. So it started reacting to the repot. The leaves are started turning a little bit. This time it's not potting up. I did a full repot on the Sambac sumac because of there's been root rot in the earlier version, and so I did a repot on it. I was thinking about making a video for it, but it was a little late and I got my hands on it all dirty. But anyway, so rinse it with hydrogen peroxide. Most of the time I don't suggest rinsing orchid with hydrogen peroxide unless the problem is very severe, because most of the time when you rinse it with hydrogen peroxide, it kills the beneficial microbes in there as well. Orchids, Sambac orchids or moth orchids, they depend on microbes a lot. It takes them a lot longer to adjust if you kill their microbes, but that's what I did, because there are a lot of severe root rots down there. I trim off about 80% of its roots. So this new pot, and I haven't watered it, but I mean the potting mix was a little bit moist already, so I didn't water it. Just give it more time to recover in there. So far it's not doing too bad. If it were to do really bad, then you should see a lot of leaves turning brown. So far I see one leaf turning brown and the other one is slowly turning yellow, which is, I think it's fine. Just give it some time to recover. And then we have over here, we have a half orchid, moth orchid, half Jasmine New Orleans. Jasmine New Orleans is doing well. It bloomed twice already and it's just putting out more new shoots. And moth orchid is doing well. As you can see, it forms a small, let me see if I can get closer right here. All right, guys, sorry about that. Workspace very limited. Let me see if you can see that. That's actually a baby, what they call a keki, growing on the side, because when I move in here, it receives quite some stress, and so it really, let me turn around and show you. Let me see if I can get a better look on the side. Alrighty, let's see, 1 second. All right, there you go. See that right there? See that right there? That's the baby coming out of the main branch. Now that's one way to propagate moth orchid. When you have keki like that, you can divide it off in the mother plants after a while. But I didn't. I'm just gonna leave it in there. I'm not gonna separate the mommy from the little kid. I just leave it in there, and so far they're doing very well. The leaves turning a little bit yellow, it's fine, but majority of the leaves still very sturdy and firm. That's what you want to look for in moth orchid. Firm and the healthy white roots. See those? So they are doing very well. Okay, then we come back over here. Another moth orchid. this one's by itself, no babies, okay? You can see the roots coming out, which is signifies it's very healthy. Roots climbing out. In terms of moth orchid, they have a tendency of growing their roots everywhere. That's how they, what should I say? They reach out for moisture and stuff in the air. They're supposed to grow on the trees and stuff, okay? But anyway, natural habitat. But anyway, it's doing very well, okay? Now, we're coming over here. We have sweet olive, 天香太 good. Now, there's a bad thing about it. You should probably see me earlier, pick up the leaf. See this leaf? It's diseased. Whole plant, it's being infected with bacteria. Now, some people call it rust. Some people call it, there's another name for it. I don't remember, but anyway, disease is disease. Now, you can see it blooms. Blooms not a problem. So what happened is that because the temperature changed so dramatically, some days, a couple days will be hot, and they use a lot of water. So I come down here and just make sure give them enough water, since these 4 sweet olives all by the windows, so they're gonna get a lot of heat. I mean, not as summer heat, but it's still a lot of sunlight and stuff. So I just make sure they didn't dry up. And especially, you know, I still, even growing plants for that many years, I still making beginner mistake, loving the plants too much. So because 天香太 good, it's very rare cultivar. So I, you know, treat it a little extra love. So I gave it too much water. So when the water forms too much, it's cause a bacterial infection on the roots and carry up to the leaves, and the leaves start to turn like that. Now, what am I gonna do with it? Okay, here's a couple steps we can try to fix this. One is repot it and take care of all the sick leaf, repot it, and make sure you sterilize the roots, like using hydrogen peroxide, and then put a new potting mix, move to a new location. That what I would do if this is a like white champaga or something that's very fragile. But sweet olives are very strong and surviving. This one right here, silver sweet olive, has the same problem before. And all I did was I cut those infected leaves off and then cut back the watering. And then, well, before I cut back the watering, I pour hydrogen peroxide into the potting mix. And then I cut back the watering for a long time, let it put out new healthy leaves before I start to water again, which works so well. Look at that. Look at the silver olive. It's really big. I mean, right now you're looking at it. It's not. I should say, it's not to actual size. If I ever put it outside for better contrast. And right now, because all the plants surrounding it, it seems like it's. Anyway, it's healthy. It's still blooming. I collect a flower. Let's talk about the first one. Focus on this one first. See the flower still there? It's dried up. So in terms of health, I would say not too good. But at least these new leaves they put out, as you can see, it's wrinkled, but at the same time it's healthy. That means I cut back the water. I use hydrogen peroxide. It's working. But I would still go in and later today cut all these infected leaf off. Now, why didn't I cut the infected leaf off earlier? Because it still has green region. Green region means plants still photosynthesize. Still doing the photosynthesis, converting the light inside the plant leaf into the food for the plant. So unless the leaves falls off itself, I typically don't cut them until they're very in bad shape. Like for example, like this one, see, just slight touch, it falls off, meaning the plant don't have sometimes plant, it's very interesting, they have their own defense mechanism. For their leaf, it's like a solar panel. Okay, the solar panel is not working anymore for our humans, we just throw them and replace a new one. Same thing with plants. They sense there's a disease on here, the leaves are not producing enough food, not doing its job, time to let it go. Just like white champagas, it drops on 1/3 of the leaves already because it's inside. So this is, what should I say? If you do have this same problem as I do, don't worry about it. I mean, if it's your first plant, yes, you're gonna be worried about it. But from my perspective, don't worry about it. I'll keep you guys up to date on this one. I'll cut the leaves off and it should be fine. Anyway, back to this one, sweet olive silver. It's doing very well. I harvested 3 times already. 3 times the flowers all the flowers, and I have a lot for teas and maybe baking some stuff with it. As you can see, in terms of bugs, in terms of bugs, no bugs so far found on it, and disease, nope. New growth, yes. And look at this new growth. Look at these healthy leaves. It's so green and vibrant, and you can see the vein in there as well. And for those people who's really into sweet olive, expert level, I would say I'm an intermediate, maybe a novice around there, but people who's really good with sweet olive, they can identify the sweet olive just by looking at the vein and leaf. They can identify what kind of cultivar that is. See, this one is a silver olive. As you can see, not all the leaves have that sharp edges. Some of them up here actually have round, smooth edges. So it's kind of weird. I think mine is like silver sweet olive, maybe hybrid. I don't know, but I forgot. I know it's silver sweet olive, but exact name I forgot. And now we look over here. We have sweet olive gold. It's doing well. As you can see, it's putting out new leaves too. Yes, outside is still green. The grass is still green. You can see I cut the leader part off right here. Don't want to grow any taller. As you can see, it's let me see if I can focus in. It's very healthy, and in terms of bugs, no bugs. And has it bloomed yet? I think it's gonna be a little late, but I did see some flower bugs. Like, I don't know if you can see this. There's some flower bugs are definitely forming on the sides and like on the leaf shoots. You get a close look, you can definitely see the flower bugs are forming, but not blooming yet. And it has a minor leaf burn as well. Now these leaf burns normal compared to the one I showed you earlier. This one is more light brownish. That's from overwatering, which and also another common problem for most sweet olive is that their tip of the leaf will brown occasionally like this, which is normal. Don't worry about it. Just cut back the water, you'll be fine. They'll recover. My silver olive, sweet olive used to do that too, but now they don't do that anymore. It has to do with enough root down there to absorb the water. So it's a watering problem. So it's not for this one. I cut back the watering already, so it should be fine. No bugs. Now we'll come over here. Well, you know what? Let's do the final sweet olive first before jumping to other plants. This sweet olive scarlet. Now, as you can see, the scarlet bloom, it's dark orange to red to scarlet. As you can see, the flower bloom already. It's dark, well, reddish orange. When it blooms outside in a good environment, it'll fill the whole tree with that a little redder, a little bit more red. So it's the whole tree will look like a scarlet. Okay. So remember, sweet olive has, when the flower bloom, if the flower is like, for example, sweet olive gold, does not mean it will always bloom very orangey gold color. Sometimes it could be light gold or gold. So there's a range, depends on the sunlight and all other factors. So it's doing very well, except I did a video a couple weeks back. It has a scale invasion, infestation on there, and I cleaned it up. And so far, it's been 2 weeks. I checked on it. Only a few more scales on there, which I took care of it. That's what you do when you do bug control. You killed it off, and you come back 1 week or 2 weeks later to examine it again to make sure everything's it's gone totally. If not, just clean it again. It's a lot less work than the first round. Okay, it's doing very well, and potting mix is doing well too. Okay, now we're done with all 4 sweet olive. Okay, we're going over here. We're looking at Cymbidium Tianshan. Okay, it's very fragrant. I haven't got a bloom yet. I think next year I'll probably get a bloom. It's very healthy. As you can see, all the leaves, it's growing everywhere. I think there are a couple more new leaf shoots coming out. Let me see if I can get down here. As you can see right there, that's a new shoot. That's another new shoot. I can go around. There's about 7 or 8 new shoots coming out. If anybody interested in growing Cymbidium, for beginner, I recommend this one. Cymbidium ruby change takes a little bit more, and the flower isn't as fragrant as this one. Very easy to take care of, and does overwater. It's not much of an issue compared to other Sambidians where requirements are very tedious. This one is not as bad. I almost killed it. I mentioned a few videos long time ago, but I repotted and it's recovering really quick after 2 years. That's how much leaves it puts out. And the leaves are very sharp, pokey, and very hard too. So in terms of bugs, I don't see any bugs want to chew on that. Although I heard online there are a couple bugs that likes this one. It's a scale, which so far I haven't found a problem with it. Don't call me on that one yet. There's an old leaf here. Let me take care of it. So it's doing very well. A lot of new shoots coming out, and no problem so far. Now over here, this is another night blooming jasmine cutting. Funny thing is, I found about 6 or 7 aphids on there. I don't even know where the aphid is coming from. To be honest, some of these bugs show up just so surprised. You don't even know where it comes from. But anyway, cut them off, start those aphids, and so far I've been inspecting it. Nothing so far is good, healthy. Now we're coming over here. We have a Chinese perfume tree, well, aka Algaia, Odorata. It's doing really well, actually. It's putting out a lot of new flowers, and it's the branches branching out pretty well. See that big part right here? It's full of flowers. Down here a little bit too, and then 3 more branches over here. So it's getting pretty big. I'm pretty sure it's pot bounded, which I kind of like when plants are pot bounded. I mean, not heavily bounded. Eventually we'll have to pot it up or repot it. Reason being is that when plants are pot bounded, it's very hard to overwater them because they usually don't get enough water. So anyway, it's very hard to waterlog the pot bounded plants. Anyway, this is I did a side project. Basil and mint in there. They are cut from propagation, so it's doing well, but just leave it in there for some time. And another night blooming jasmine cutting is doing well. And we have a jasmine and a chili pepper on the same plant. So, I mean, not same plant, same pots. It's doing well too. Jasmine putting out new shoots. I have to probably cut this one off later. And talk about this one. I don't know if you guys remember. I found a what do you call those? Hookworm. Was it hookworm or cabbage worm? Cabbage worm, green worm in here. I decided not to kill it. Just a couple weeks ago, I don't know where they went. So it doesn't do much harm. It just eat the war sorrows down there. But then it crawls somewhere. I don't know which plant, but it's out there. I've been looking for it actually for some time. Just couldn't find it. This thing about bugs, man, they're smart sometimes. Anyway, back to these Logan plants. As you can see, I twist the plant around because this side is getting used to be around this side, and you can see the leaves are facing the sun. So I decided to twist them, move the pots around, so these leaves to slowly tilt over this side to adjust, so the plant doesn't look kind of like a one-sided plant. So it's doing very well. No bugs so far. I think for this one, eventually I probably have to remove one of them down there, else they will be competing for nutrient down there. Okay, and that's about it. I think I went over all the plants here. Yeah, all right. It's kind of long, I know, but just give you another update. All right, if you like it, please click like, and thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. If you have questions, just post it below.